Hey, Geekscapists, welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm Jonathan London, your host. If this is your first Geekscape, strap yourselves in for some pop culture talk, movies, video games, comic books, TV, all the pop culture goodness that you can fit in about 45 minutes to an hour. This one's going to be a lot of comic books and a lot of TV, maybe some movies, mainly because we're going to be talking all about the brand new Disney Plus MCU, hopefully tied in series Wonder Man, which didn't get a whole lot of press, not a whole lot of fanfare when it started out. I had my artist Tom Hoskinson from Hear the Prophecy tell me, "Did you know that a Marvel show came out and that it's excellent?" I did know because this is Geekscape. I'm supposed to know these things. I'd been looking forward to Wonder Man. Simon Williams is one of my favorite Avengers. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love him on West Coast Avengers. I love him on the Avengers. I love him in like the weird love triangle with Vision and Wanda Maximoff. I love it when Simon Williams teams up with Beast. I am a big Wonder Man fan. So I was looking forward to this series. Did it meet my expectations? Well, this is the Geekscape Wonder Man special. There will be spoilers. If you have not finished all 8 episodes of Wonder Man on Disney Plus, what's keeping you? It's getting a lot of critical acclaim. Fans are talking about it now. They're loving this. Am I? We're going to talk about that. I got Ian Kerner waiting in the wings. We're going to be talking all about this new Wonder Man show. Is he going to show up in the MCU? Are we going to see him again? We'll talk about some of the episodes. What are some of the characters from the MCU or from the Marvel comics that might have peeked their head into the series? And which kind of hash it out. You know how Ian and I do if this is a continuous Geekscape viewing for you. If this is your first Geekscape, you're like, get on with it. Let's go. And to that, I say, all right, I agree. This is a Geekscape. Let's go. Hey, Geekscapists, I just got a text from my good friend Jamal Anansi. He was featured in last week's episode. If you guys are not just hanging around for the Geekscape specials, but you listen every week, we had an audio-only episode from Pasadena Comic-Con, and Jamal was in that episode. He's got, he's got this new book, Sincere, that he's got, and Jamal's an awesome creator. He says, "Yo, I finally sat down and read your book, Hear the Prophecy, and it was awesome, really funny, and I definitely like Paul London." Well, I love him. He's my brother. Uh, can he even be a good hero, seeing how much of a disaster and train wreck he is? Aren't they the best kinds, though? So when is the next one coming out? Well, Jamal, thank you for writing. The next one is sitting in 3 boxes behind me, and I am going to put those in the mail as fast as I can to those of you who kickstarted the book. So thank you. I don't know if y'all know this, but I got a brand new job at the top of the year as a creative producer. I hope I can hang with it. I start directing my scripts this week, so it's a lot of work. But I will be getting the Hear the Prophecy 2s out to you. Hear the Prophecy 3, we're working on it now, and Super Action Man's almost done. The Super Action Man comic, which has to be out by the summer because it's the 250th anniversary of our country. Love it or not at the moment. You're going to have a brand new Super Action Man comic book out. Definitely by Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. All right, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Wonder Man, the brand new series from Disney Plus and Marvel. And man, they did just kind of drop this one without a whole lot of lead up to it. Does that mean that it wasn't good? Was the lack of faith something that is reflected in the quality of the show? Well, here to talk about it is my good friend Ian Kerner, a fellow Wonder Man fan, a fellow comic book fan, the encyclopedic Ian Kerner. Dude, how are you, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Ian's got a brand new computer, a brand new setup. Yeah, it sounds good. I thought I heard a little bit of room tone, but I think that StreamYard just canceled it out, so I'm happy.
Great.
Dude, Wonder Man.
So let's start off saying that, anyone that's watched this may have noticed that the opening says Marvel Spotlight, which is not really a different division, but something that the Marvel's been labeling shows that kind of don't require a lot of previous knowledge. They kind of can stand alone, on their own.
Like Werewolf
And
by
for the
Night.
most
That's the
part,
first time I saw it, right? Was Werewolf by
you
Night. I think
know,
that was the first
you
time they
World by
used it.
Knife. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it was the first
And
one.
I thought that was going to
So,
be just used for like mini movies, like the upcoming Punisher one was going to be a Marvel
not
Spotlight.
necessarily. My understanding is just that it really kind of stands on its own. You could just follow it. And look, I mean, I think it helps if you knew who Trevor Slattery was before, but
Yeah.
everything you need to know is there, right? For the most part. I mean, I
Hmm.
think that if you haven't seen Iron Man 3 and to a lesser extent Shang-Chi or, that little short that they did where he got out of jail,
Hmm.
it's a little like, all right, who is this guy? Other like, do you understand that he actually wasn't a terrorist? I think that you might be really confused if you just watch this show, but notwithstanding that, I mean, it's fine. And honestly, most people probably seen Iron Man 3. But I have to say, there's a lot of things to say about this. The way they burned it off is really upsetting because not it's really good, but you don't like it really stands on its own. What this show does is back when they were launching these shows, we talked about this a lot, that they kind of had this notion of, and this is true of the comics, within this stuff you could do a lot of different kinds of shows. And this show is, I wouldn't exactly call it a sitcom per se, but it's not an accent. The runtime's of 30 minutes because it's sort of comedic. It's this like kind of buddy comedy, kind of,
It's a
semi-comic
fun single camera
dramedy
show.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. What? Yeah,
It's
like
yeah, I mean, right now there's a lot of single camera shows that are funny, and I think like Scrubs brought that away from like we had Friends in the late '90s and all the Seinfeld stuff, but then it became like Scrubs in the 2000s, and then it started becoming a little more filmic, and this is what
when
we're
you look
ending up
more
with.
at the HBO and Showtime half hours, it's
Yeah,
more in the
yeah,
line of those shows.
yeah. The Sex and the
There's no
Cities.
laugh track. It's not zingers or one-liners or anything like that. It's just there's maybe some kind of comedic tone. And honestly, like in this show, it's some of Trevor's stuff is just amusing, because as a
It,
character, he's amusing.
his stuff was great, but I will tell you, as much as it is a comedy, I thought that the heart of this show in the
Well, that's why it's not a straight up comedy. It's, if anything, it's a drama.
no,
There's a
it's
comedic
and it's
tone in
about
places, but no, it's
I
really good.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
Just gonna come out and say it. I loved every
it's so
moment
did
of this
I. It
show.
was fantastic. And not only did I love it, but a lot of the time you get worried. It's like it sticks the landing.
Mhm.
I personally at the end teared up. I saw it coming and teared up anyway.
It was super emotional. It was super
Yeah.
emotional, especially when, this the show starts with Midnight Cowboy and
Hmm.
it ends throwing back to Midnight Cowboy in
Yeah.
a story about these two disparate kind of rejects finding
Hmm.
friendship in each other. I was really, really in. I mean, because at the beginning you think, okay, this guy's going to get a career. He's going to figure it out because he's a down and out actor. Oh, he just lost his girlfriend. Okay, he's going to figure that out by the end of it. And he's going to get the girlfriend back. And by the end of it, it wasn't about that at all.
Not about that at all. By the
Hmm.
way, in the beginning, I didn't know that much. Like I now know that. So they'd been developing Wonder Man show, and then on the set of Shang-Chi, the director just sort of said to Ben Kingsley, I had this idea. What if Trevor Slattery goes back to Hollywood? And Ben Kingsley's like, yeah, man. And they just
Hmm.
smushed those two ideas together, but
Yeah,
not in
and the
like,
director of
but
Shang-Chi is the showrunner of this, Geekscape.
yeah, yes, but they didn't smush it together like in the awful X-Men First Class way. They
Right.
smushed it together in a way like, you know what, this is actually a genius way to do this, to bring this
Hmm.
together. I mean, and it worked so well. So going in, when I see Trevor Slattery in the first episode, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's just a cameo and that's it. And I figured it'd just be like some kind of like he has some kind of thing. And then it took me an episode to go, no, he's on this show. Like he's a
Yeah,
major part of this show. And it's
major.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
So, Ian, I was
I
going to ask you, like, let's
yeah.
talk about the comics real quick and like
Okay.
who Simon Williams really is in the comics as a
So
way to like then talk about the show and the differences that it presents.
again, I love what they did in this show. There's a lot that they did that really modernized this. In the comics, initially Simon Williams is cut from that. I mean, mind you, this is the early '60s. So that whole idea of, like, it's like if you look back, it's like every industrialist gets superpowers and is a superhero or a supervillain in the comics in the early
Mhm.
'60s, right?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
And Wonder Man
And
was
that's
a villain
so Wonder
introduced,
Man
right?
was a competitor of Tony Stark, and Tony kind of ruined his business. So
Hmm.
he gets powers, and initially he says, "Oh, like he wants to be an Avenger," but he's actually betrays the Avengers to the original Masters of Evil. Okay, but
Right.
then
And
he
who gave him the
realizes
powers?
Baron Zemo,
Baron Zemo. There you go. A
but
classic
but
Avengers and Captain America
but
villain.
then
Yeah.
he realizes he's wrong, and he turns on them, and he saves the Avengers, and he dies in the process,
Mm.
or so everyone thought. So he's seemingly dead, but because he's basically ionic energy, his body is seemingly like doesn't decompose in any way.
It's like Dr.
So,
Manhattan. There's no physical, real corporeal form for the most
well,
part.
no, he's corporeal, but
Okay.
it's just like nature of his powers, he's not decomposing. So,
Okay.
cut to Ultron about 48 issues later. We find out did two things when he made Vision. He supposedly took the original body of the Human Torch, who was an android, and that's what he used for the body. And then he needed some what they called brain engrams, like something to base the personality on. So he took a scan from Simon Williams.
Mm.
Okay, so that's how he created Vision. And then a while later, Simon comes back to life that he had been dormant and he was just undergoing a full change into more of an energy form, even though he was corporeal. And so he comes back, he's alive, and he joins the Avengers. And so here's what's cool. He then has a costume that's like almost identical to the costume that the Wonder Man in the show, excuse me, in the serial that we see young Simon go see
The
had.
70s is serial, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the nod to that because, and it was, those were the comics in the '70s, right? Early
It was great.
'70s.
I was stoked when I saw it in the trailer for the series. I was super happy they did that version as a
Yeah.
shout out. Yeah.
So that was, so honestly, and that alone, it's like, yeah, the cheesy costume, but it works in the serials, right?
Hmm.
And then of course, you're showing the picture of a more modern Simon, which basically is the version of the costume they went for the movie later, right?
Hmm.
So a few things. In the comics, ultimately Simon and Vision tend to think of themselves as like their brothers. However, Simon has a real brother, a biological brother, Eric Williams. So Eric Williams, basically, because of his brother dying, decides he hates the Avengers and becomes the Grim Reaper. When Simon comes back to life, he never accepts, well, more or less never. Recently, a little bit, but for the most part, doesn't accept it, thinks he's an abomination, and wants to kill him all the time. And he hates the Vision also because he thinks, oh, he's desecrated the memory of his brother. So, sort of interesting to me is I mean, I kind of feel like the version of Eric we see here, I don't see doing that. However, if they ever did something where Simon seemingly died, that could be the thing that makes Eric a bad guy.
Yeah, Eric was great in this, and he's kind of
Yeah.
the favored son, the successful son. Their father had died. I love the emotionality in every scene. I love the Jamaican origins that they gave to this new version of Simon Williams. I love the mom
Yeah, she
and
was great.
the episode. And I got to shout out my grad school friend. I talked to him on Friday and sent him a nice text. I was like, dude, I love this. He did the episode Pacoima, and then he did an episode called Doorman. He did episodes 3 and 4 of this 8 episode series. And I think Pacoima is an episode where Trevor Slattery goes with Simon to visit his mom because they have a cookout. Trevor Slattery has been hired by Damage Control to kind of spy on Simon to keep himself out of jail. And so he goes to Pacoima. He's trying to gather information on it. and that's where the majority of butting heads with Eric happens. And his family finds out, like, they know his secret. He shatters the dining room island, or the kitchen island. Like, he lets off his ionic energy in a big way at the end of that episode. And dude, just the fact that this guy's a failure and he's trying to not be a superhero and trying to hide the fact leads to the doorman episode, which I think is the emotional
So let's talk
height
about that
of
for a
this whole
second
thing.
before we go there. So what's
Yeah,
interesting
and we
about
can
the
go to the
show?
second episode because we just kind of skipped over Joe Pantoliano and all that stuff, which is great
wait.
too.
So, but I want to talk about his powers for a second. The show
Sure.
does something that was interesting to me. We had 8 episodes. They never bother explaining where his powers come from.
Right.
They just don't.
No accident, no this. Yeah.
And seemingly he seems like he doesn't know, but he's had them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which I found kind of interesting.
Well, yeah. I mean, he clearly affected his own apartment and covered it up. That didn't happen in episode 1 at the end of
the
episode
fact
1.
that the whole family knows means it's not an adult thing. It's something he had as a kid, likely.
Right.
So again, that's not what the comics are. Now look, it might be that Marvel is thinking maybe we'll make him a mutant. Not clear yet. I think that's intentional, but they hadn't decided what they wanted to do yet.
But the Marvel spotlight of it all, I mean, there's a conversation
means nothing. They can do whatever they want. They can bring anyone back.
Are we gonna see him again? Like, this is a character that, I mean, we all want to see him return in Avengers Doomsday.
The interviews I've seen say that, like, if it does really, really well, unfortunately, I think the current economics and plan is, they've lost a lot of faith. I mean, we knew when they started let's call it the experiment of the MCU TV stuff is, I love the idea of different kind of shows and all that. But if you're trying to get the core audience, the huge audience, I should say, wasn't for everybody. It never was going to be that, those different kinds of shows and everything. It's unfortunate because, I mean, this is up there among the best. And I've said this before, Ironheart was surprisingly good.
Loved Ironheart.
Wow,
did that thing bring us some surprises?
Didn't want to because it's off the radar, right?
And it will be important going forward when they start putting the champions together, and especially for that upcoming Vision Quest series.
Yes. I mean, I hope we see these characters again. Look, the ending of this, fine, they're getting away, whatever, like, do we have to? We don't have to, but we want to, but a lot depends on where they go next and what they're going to do. We look at things like West Coast Avengers and things like that. Unfortunately, my fear with the Marvel stuff in this moment is we'll see how Doomsday does, because it really matters for the financials, right? And I feel like they're going all in on, let's just go back to the same characters because people don't care about everyone else in the same way. And I don't know that works anymore.
So if Doomsday is successful, it's more of a death knell for these characters, or is it more of a chance for Marvel to take the risks again?
It's whatever they decide they want to do with it.
50-50.
But if Doomsday is successful, they keep doing something. If Doomsday fails, then I think that everything is iffy.
But
if we want more Wonder Man,
Doomsday can't fail.
The fuck out of Wonder Man.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably the best point. If you want more Wonder Man, watch the fuck out of Wonder Man. And Ian and I wholeheartedly suggest you go watch the fuck out of Wonder Man because it was incredible.
Awesome.
It was funny. It was beautiful.
Look,
I loved it.
My wife burnt out on Marvel stuff years ago, and she really hasn't watched anything. And I sent her a few different articles on Wonder Man, and she's like, you know what? You convinced me. I will watch this because. It's set within the MCU. It's just a really good show.
Yeah.
It just happens to have superpowers. It's a really, really good, smart show. Which, by the way, like WandaVision was.
Yeah. And it doesn't
that's what these shows should be. They shouldn't just be crap. Secret Invasion. It's a really good show.
Well, it doesn't.
Ironheart was a really good show.
This Wonder Man doesn't hang on the MCU. It doesn't very much reference much of the MCU beyond Trevor Slattery's past, history in the MCU. It's just set in it. So, we have a reference to Captain America. We have a reference to some of these people being there somewhere, but it is very rare. Um, what about the MCU did you find peppered in? Were there any Easter eggs, like the character Doorman, which was probably the most horrific and amazing episode of the series?
Doorman was great as an obscure Great Lakes Avengers character.
Mhm.
But to me, what was great about it is how it informed that world. Because they gave us a conceit that we had not heard before,
Which
right?
is,
This idea that he can't have powers because his career would be over. You're kind of like, why he keeps saying this? Why is that? And then they give us a whole episode showing exactly why. And then when you get to the end of that episode, you realize, and he says, "Oh, insurance." Like, well, that's absolutely right. Something
yeah.
like that happened on a set. No insurance company would ever,
And that
insure
episode
anyone again.
is like Black Mirror level horrifying at some points. That being said,
So
I
let's
hope
talk about that episode real quick.
I did fast forward through the credits to see if Josh Gad would return in Avengers Doomsday, and that wasn't there.
So one of the really cool things they do in that episode, though, is that episode ties into both Agent Carter and Cloak and Dagger.
Okay, hold up. What? I mean,
So,
I'm leading you, but I saw the signs on the side of
right,
that wall.
it's not
On
just
the
the
side of the
signs.
dumpster.
It's not just the
It's whole
signs.
industry. It's the
It's also the
goo.
goo itself.
Yeah, the secret of the goo.
So the
So
goo that he
I saw the
touches is
Roxxon thing, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's so cool! Don't touch that goo, dude."
right. Well, so it's the black mass from Agent Carter, and it's basically what Cloak, you know, becomes in Cloak and Dagger. So
Mhm.
it's this all connected thing, which for a while the MCU had distanced itself from the stuff they were doing on TV, but this is like very definitively part of it. And obviously, we've seen recently, starting with Daredevil, that they've sort of acknowledged and absorbed all that stuff. I mean, at the moment, we're in that it's pick and choose, and they could decide to use as much of it as they want and say it's not necessarily the same world. But so far, it seems like everything counts.
Mhm. Yeah, I was pretty
Yeah.
excited to see the Roxxon logo on the side of that dumpster, and then that episode again, like, was just incredible. Hats off,
Yeah.
James. I
Love
sent
it.
you the text, and that was awesome. Um, from there, it goes to the big thing that I was kind of amazed by. The director who's bringing back Wonder Man, who did the original Wonder Man movie in the serialized and then comes back. His last name is Korvac, like Kovac, right?
Yeah.
But the whole villain of the Avengers is the Korvac saga. And
Yes.
then he tests the actors with mind games and this and
But
that. I'm
wasn't it
like,
Kovac?
okay,
Was it
it was
Korvac in this?
Kovac, but
Yeah.
it's but
It's
Korvac
interesting
is
that
the
they got that
like
close to that, but they didn't quite do that. So
right
for
when he started
me,
mentally playing with people, I was like,
yeah,
okay, because Korvac does have that level of powers where it's like, okay, I'm one of like the more powerful entities in the universe, right?
yeah, yeah,
You know, but yeah, I wanted to see some iteration of like some version of Korvac. But then again, that would have steeped it pretty heavily into the MCU superhero stuff. You
yeah.
know,
Because I mean, theoretically, Korvac's a character they may save for another, a future Avengers, because he's at that level, right?
I will tell you this though. There is a shot in the director Kovac's mansion when he has all the actors gathered and he's showing them this is the movie and he has the pin board.
Yes.
You freeze framed it, didn't you, Ian? You freeze
Um,
framed that
I,
shot.
I glanced. I didn't study it as close as I might have. But I know you have like Thor in there and Captain America, and there's
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
Black
stuff in
Panther
there.
was in there. You had a
Both Black
couple
Panthers.
different MCU characters in there.
Hmm.
You didn't read up on the internet and people going deep on the Easter eggs on
I
that
actually
shot on
didn't.
that scene.
I didn't. I feel like there was an alien thing in there.
Yeah, I mean there was stuff that was from the serialized, sillier Wonder Man in there, updated. But the coolest thing about it was like, and one of the most emotional moments was when he finally gets the Wonder Man glasses back as an
Love that.
adult. And that's
It was
like what
awesome.
his father held on to. His father was like those glasses
Yeah.
were what the character was, and on set he gets the original actor's glasses,
I mean,
which he
which
like
honestly is like to be a little kid to have
dude,
like, no, these aren't like these are like the glasses that he wore in the
these aren't the
movie.
glasses. He keeps saying
Like,
these aren't the glasses.
yeah,
Um,
so cool.
Trevor Flattery's sacrifice in the show
Well,
when
well,
Wonder
what's
Man
great
gets
about this
pushed.
show is both of these characters, one could argue, were lacking in some fundamental, in humanity, right? I mean, they
Right.
actually they both have an arc where
His
they
girlfriend says, "You
completely
don't let
grow
me
over the
in."
course of the season. Hmm?
His girlfriend says, "That's the thing. You never
Yeah,
let me in." And now
yeah.
he's makes him so he allows Trevor Slattery in,
Well,
but
they're both
Trevor is
narcissists, and
betraying him.
they both go beyond narcissism, right?
Hmm.
They're
Yeah,
both
but when he
completely
finally
self-motivated. Not that they're bad people, but they just happen to be like, when in doubt, when something comes up, it always becomes about them.
self-preservation.
And
Yeah,
both of them managed to put someone else, this friend that they came to care about, ahead of their own needs in not a little bit, like in a massive way, like literally
Tre
life and liberty.
well, Trevor does it first when
Yes, he
Simon's
does.
powers go up and he's basically screwed. He's like, "I just destroyed the studio. I just went
Right.
off like a small bomb, and here comes damage control to take me away." And Trevor dodged the
But
Mandarin again.
but
It was
but
so
here's the
good.
thing. For me, Trevor doing it, and Trevor's now lived like for a while now around Simon, basically planning on betraying him. The fact that he then has that flip, mind you, Trevor had been in jail, all the other things Trevor's done, some pretty bad things. For me, it was like, okay, Trevor make that thing. It's a big deal that what Trevor did, but I saw that until literally, I mean, once Simon's, with the people, I kind of saw it, before they revealed it, but did not for a second think that Simon would do anything like that, you know?
Go
So
into
when he
damage
does,
control
it
and
was
save him.
really powerful for me.
Yeah, I mean, you see
As a
him have
character, I
the
didn't see that jump, but I did buy it because they had
totally
gotten
bought
that
it.
close.
But he has the big premiere. Wonder Man's a success. His career is taken off, and he says, "I know what I'm going to do for my next role." And he starts researching this farmer in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, "Oh, this is a dangerous thing because it could be a fourth act. It could be something that
Yeah.
we thought that we had the satisfying conclusion of the series, and you realize
I'm
he's
like,
been
literally, like,
studying,
this isn't it, I'm like, what are they doing?
and he is studying the small town employee of damage control, so he can go into damage control and do a jailbreak on Trevor Flannery. I thought I
Mhm.
was gonna see Doorman in that sequence. That Doorman was gonna be one of the dudes locked up in there, and we're just gonna pass his
That
cell
would
or
have been
something,
interesting.
but it would've been a nice little funny
Yeah.
thing, but that being said, I'm super happy with what we got, which was the payback. He goes and he saves his friend Trevor Flannery from
I mean, I
prison.
would have liked to have seen Abomination.
Yeah, seeing A-Bomb. How did he end in She-Hulk, the A-Bomb?
Back at the ODC. There. That's where
Mhm,
he is.
mhm.
That's the
Well,
first time we
now it's
saw
now
that
it's
that prison, that Supermax.
well, then, let's get it out. Was in She-Hulk. Yeah, we saw the front of
Right.
it. Well, it'll return in Secret Wars, so enjoy. Abomination is a lot is in Secret Wars quite a bit, so I'm excited. The
Is
original
he?
comic.
Oh
I
yeah,
th
the comic, yes.
Yeah, the comic. Yeah, he
Yes.
and
Yes, he
Absorbing
is.
Man and all those villains are hanging out
Yes,
in
that's
that
true.
one.
I don't know if that means they're in the movie, but
No, no, no. Can we talk about Joe Pantoliano?
awesome. So funny. I mean, gotta give him credit for just totally, I mean, really,
Skewering himself.
yeah, messing with his own image, But honestly, it's true. Everyone likes him. So to be that the vain actor thing was very funny.
But the payoff when he takes Trevor's role in the movie,
Of course he
when you
did.
have
It
the
was
reverse and you
great.
see him, and it's like,
So funny.
"Who'd he get to," and he goes, "Who did he get to play me?" I hope you didn't. I mean, in honesty, that moment where Simon stands up for Trevor when Joe Pantoliano is being such a straight up dick
Was
to him, a
awesome.
condescending prick, and he says, "Hey man, you're being an asshole."
Yeah.
I
Well,
loved it.
that was when that moment sets up why you buy what he does at the end.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
on a smaller level, he's already done it for Trevor,
That's
right?
the moment where he stands up for his friend,
Right.
and I thought he was gonna have another power spasm, in that scene where he maybe I was like, dude, do not destroy Joe Pantoliano's place. But
Yeah.
he keeps it together and he just tells him off, which I thought was a great character moment.
By the way, talking
Um,
about comedy, like that episode, everything with Joe Pantoliano at the house is really funny.
it was awesome. It was awesome. Oh, you don't leave my chef. Just wait. Um, talk about some of the stuff that might have been Easter eggs in the show. I didn't feel like there were a lot of them, but
You
were there
know,
things from the MCU or from
to
the
me, it
comics
was
that
less
led in?
Easter eggs and more. I mean, I guess you could say these are Easter eggs, but just that the world is built, right? Like you have things like, Rogers the Musical,
Yeah.
is referenced. What was it? One Zaniac, I think it was one of Kingo's movies from Eternals.
Hmm.
You see like a billboard for, like just, the world is realized in a subtle ways, referencing Captain America, just the guy with the shield. I mean, you have things that make it very clear this is the MCU.
Right.
Obviously, Department of Damage Control.
Hmm.
One of the agents we've seen in a couple of the other, projects.
Yeah.
So they did things like that, which I mean, I thought were great. You know,
Yeah. I would love. I mean, I think our hearts will be broken if we don't see this character again.
I was a little. I loved that he's wearing the red suit. Um, I remember when I first saw it, I kept looking. I was like, it's a full suit, which I guess is appropriate for the premiere. I was hoping it'd just be black pants
Hmm.
because in the
Yeah.
in the 80s, after he had the green outfit, but before he had the current black outfit with the red W, he would just wear like black shirt and pants, and then this like red. It was
Red
basically
jacket.
like, I mean, it always seemed
It
like
looked
it's
like
a
the Knight
smoking
Rider
jacket.
jacket.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much like a smoking jacket, or kind of like it's a safari jacket style,
Yeah.
right?
It
But
was
it's
a
red
safari
and
jacket.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next time. I mean,
and the glasses, of course.
next time. This was this was such a highlight, this show.
Yeah,
And I was on here talking about how we love Agatha all along, how we really enjoyed
Agatha was great,
Ironheart. They really surprised us, but this
really good.
one,
But this was just
this is the
next
height.
level. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the next level. This show
I
was
have to. I
phenomenal.
haven't thought about, is this better than WandaVision? Because I thought WandaVision was phenomenal and so smart.
Mhm. And
Different
how funny.
shows, right? Different in so
Mhm.
many ways. And also, let's talk about this thing. You can tell watching it, like, not crazy expensive. This is by far the least expensive of all the shows they've done.
Yeah. They're just
They're
hanging
they're
out in
half
private
hour
places.
episodes, so a shorter. Feige had said way back when that all the shows would be about basically 6 hours long altogether, and then the length of the episode would vary. But you get that 6 hours. This is 4 hours. It's
Mhm.
8 half-hour episodes. It that alone. I mean, look, that's significant money. But also, for the most part, you have a few power things, but it's mostly just walking and talking.
Really well written stuff
Yeah,
and well acted. The acting was
yeah,
incredible. This guy has played Black Manta. He played Dr. Manhattan
yep,
in the HBO Watchmen series, which is incredible.
phenomenal.
Uh, we got Daredevil Reborn Part 2 coming up.
Which I believe the date on that shifted to like late March, right?
It's late March. It's like the 26th of March or something like that.
Something like that.
All right, which is WonderCon. We'll be down at WonderCon. What else do we got coming up? Like, when is Vision Quest releasing? Because I
They
think
have
that
not said. I think the expectation is around June, but I have not seen an official date. Have
we'll
you?
have already been to Doomsday in June.
Is
Is
Doomsday? I
Doomsday
thought
not early May
it's
or is
June.
Spider-Man early May? Which has the May release? Doomsday or Spider-Man?
I think Spider-Man's before Doomsday. Am I wrong?
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
Spider-Man,
I
brand new
thought Doomsday
day.
was July.
Spider-Man brand new day's release date is July 31st,
Oh no, Doomsday
2026.
moved to December. Remember?
Doomsday. Let's see. Avengers
December
Doomsday
18th. It moved to December.
is December 18th. Fantastic.
Doomsday was
Fantastic.
originally supposed to come out before Spider-Man, but then they pushed it and Secret Wars. They pushed them to December.
Fantastic. And I love these teasers, man. I love the Doomsday teasers. And my favorite one is the one where you get to see the new Black Panther and Ben Grimm. And I'm like, cool. Get me some more Fantastic Four. I loved that. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the X-Men stuff. I like seeing Thor. I like seeing Cap, but seeing two universes like the Black Panther stuff and Fantastic Four really, really got me happy. I really was enjoying that. As cool as it is to see
I,
Cyclops' comic book uniform.
I think Psycho's coming and blasting off like right out of
Mhm.
X-Men 97 for
Yeah,
me was just like geez,
it's pretty cool.
so
So damn it, we
iconic.
got to. So our
And,
next Marvel big screen is Spider-Man: Brand New Day in late
right,
July. Okay.
right.
Yeah,
Which
I kind of miss that Sony's not making these movies anymore because it would at least like get
I
us like
mean,
little teases in between the
I,
Marvel stuff or the Disney stuff.
I don't really agree with you on that because I really think it and I think I said this the other day on a thread you and I are on. I think that really watered down the brand. I mean, Marvel made a couple of missteps, but to have Marvel's missteps come out at the same time, pretty much, if you think about it, Marvel had a
Yeah,
couple of bad stinkers at the same time when you had the worst of those Sony movies come out. So for a lot
yeah,
of fans, it's like one stinker after another, one on top of another on top of another. I really think it
yeah.
lost a lot of people like I'm done.
It's a good point that
I
it
mean, if you think
compounded
about
these
it, we
two.
had Secret Invasion, we had, I mean, Thor, Love and
Eternals,
Thunder, which
Marvels.
was off. Doctor Strange was off. Marvels was off.
You
And
didn't
we
enjoy,
get,
Doctor Strange gets a lot of flack, but I like the
listen,
multiverse of
the,
madness.
the, it's flawed. I'm not saying it's
Mhm.
the worst movie ever. I'm saying it's flawed and people were disappointed in it. But then on top of that, you got Madam Web and Craven, you know, all
And
those
some people
movies,
aren't
all
us,
everything I just named was like within the same year.
right? So a passive fan, like a layman, would just see they
A
just see
passive
Marvel.
fan's
They
like,
just see
wow,
super.
Marvel has just
Yeah,
just lost the narrative, and like, why would I bother just giving any time to anything else?
and
You
you also
know?
see that, and you also saw the tail end of the Snyderverse DC stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm getting your point.
So then
Getting your
suddenly
point.
people, oh, comic movies are over. Listen, at the
Except Blue
same
Beetle,
time,
which kicked ass.
well, excuse me. By the way, then No Way Home comes out and is great, kills.
Oh, awesome.
Deadpool Wolverine comes out, great, kills.
Kills.
So people
Hmm.
do want to go to these movies, but so if you lost the people that were automatically going, now a lot of those people are going to listen to word of mouth. If the
Right.
word of mouth isn't fantastic, it affects it. Look, Thunderbolt asterisk and Fantastic Four. I thought
Fantastic
those
Four.
movies were great.
Loved those
Still
movies.
didn't get people into the theaters. You know,
Right. Superman did for what it was, the brand new
listen,
iteration of this new
it's
universe.
but there's so much spin on that. Superman did okay.
Yeah,
He did great.
I know, I know. But
I mean, literally,
it's gonna build. I think it's gonna build, Ian.
They swore that Superman had to make so much more money for years, and then suddenly, 2 months before it came out, oh, it doesn't really need to make that much money. Personally, that's corporate spin because Zaslav wants to sell the fucking thing.
Well, I think Supergirl might benefit from the goodwill that comes out of Superman. And we have a
Listen,
user on here
I think
saying,
Supergirl looks fun, notwithstanding that it's like, all right, we took the Supergirl story and a lot of people say, and they're right, it's kind of they all have this very Guardians of the Galaxy feel. I think like her character is awesome, but they keep doing that. Gunn keeps doing that same kind of, that same color
mhm.
palette, same kind of vibe. Um, Listen, I hope it does well. Lobo looks great. You know, I'm excited for those movies. I'm definitely concerned about how well they'll do.
Well,
I,
Doomsday
th- I, I
might be
th-
good. Says one of our listeners, Doomsday might be good. Recent Marvel movies felt like push slot for sake of money making. Yeah.
Fact.
They were shaking out the coffers there.
My big fear about Doomsday is, and maybe people disagree with me. I think I've said this on past specials. They didn't build it up nearly as much as I expected. Because let's think about Thanos. You had
Mhm.
some kind of tag at the end of like every movie for
Everything.
years and years that ultimately led to Infinity War.
Here
You
you
didn't
only get
get that.
one Doomsday tag. I mean, you can
What,
count the Marvels tag a
and
little bit,
And
but
listen,
here you
we
only
were
got
literally spent a
one Doom
couple of
tag.
years expecting it. And the reason I think is is because when they did Kang and Ant-Man, everyone thought they were going to be leading to Kang. And once they said, no, we can't do that because Jonathan Majors had his problems, they spent years spinning and trying to figure this out, and thereby kind of lost the narrative and how to build up to something.
Mhm.
So the answer was, all right, let's cast Downey, and that's good enough. Maybe.
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 And no, I don't think that movie can fail. I think it's too big to fail. It's too. I mean, it's going to be massive. It's
Listen,
got everything in it. The whole
to
kitchen
your
sink
point,
in this
it's
movie.
gonna do well, but I don't think it's gonna do well like Infinity War Endgame well. It's gonna break
It might
$1
be too
billion,
expensive.
but
Yes,
not 2.
sure. But we
You
still
know,
have Secret Wars. Are they not shooting Secret Wars at the same time?
no, they are. I
Yeah.
believe.
So
I mean, it's
they're
coming
already
out
gonna.
soon.
That thing's coming out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that thing's coming
I
out.
mean, the other thing about that, I think, look, just knowing the source material, the story always should have been it would have been Kang, and at the end, Doom would have shown up and undermined, overthrown, taken power. So instead, either that's already happened off screen, or we'll see something like it at the beginning. My personal expectation, we're going to hear that's what happened in exposition.
You know, Ant-Man didn't just take him out by punching him.
No.
Shouldn't have happened in that movie either.
You know how I felt about that. It's like, oh, this is supposed to be the big bad, and Ant-Man beat him. Yeah.
Ant-Man not only beat him, Ant-Man beat him with fisticuffs, which is not an
Yeah.
Ant-Man strength. And how for me, it's silly as some of the as people criticize the silliness and the CGI. To me, it's that you gave this pretty cool metaphorical problem called that time storm or whatever the heck they had, and they dropped Scott into it, and he came out because he had Cassie, and he fought his way out of it. All this Ant-Man's united to get him out of this time cyclone or whatever the heck it was called, and I thought the end of that movie should have been Kang beating the crap out of Scott, Lang, and then all of a sudden realizing he had a bunch of shrinky discs on his back. And even though Scott Lang got it beat up, he's like, yeah, but I'm also a thief and have slave of hand. And I just
that
stuck
would
a
have been
bunch of
great.
shrinky discs on you.
Yeah,
and then
beating
Kang
him
is
that way
stuck
would have
fighting versions of
totally.
himself in the time storm. And that's how that Kang was handled.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, Ian, where do we leave things with Wonder Man? Because my heart will be broken if I do not see Yahya
the only
again.
way we see him again is if a lot of people watch it. That's
not
simple.
good enough.
I don't think
they used to bring characters
plans
back for no reason back in the day.
Listen,
we got Pit the Troll.
I hope he shows up in Doomsday or something like that, and he could as a cameo. But again, I don't think they bother doing that cameo if he's not big enough that they think anyone's going to give a damn.
They're not putting the street level Avengers in
that's
there.
the funny
They're
thing.
not putting Daredevil in there. Yeah.
Which, we were hoping for that years ago.
Our viewer is saying, I'm still waiting for Jon Snow, Black Knight. We're still waiting for Blade.
And Blade, yeah.
Well, the one cool thing is we did actually get a Matt Murdock cameo in No Way Home.
Spider-Man.
So
yeah.
I would be down with that kind of stuff with some of these.
And that's why they reference, Spider-Man in Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, some of these Disney Plus characters, I think they're fun for us. A scene or two in Doomsday, let's have at it. Let's pepper it.
I mean, the thing about those characters is if your show's not taking place in New York, whatever, they don't need to be in it. Sure. And that's the easy,
But Iron Fist should be there.
Sure. Listen,
dude, when Iron Fist shows up in this Daredevil Reborn, I'm going to be so happy.
I'm thrilled Jessica Jones is in it. But I'm literally going, great, there's Jessica. Where's Luke Cage and Colleen? Danny doesn't need to be there because last time we saw him, he was in the freaking Himalayas.
He was on the other side of the planet, yeah.
I still want that story. I want to see, the 7, heavenly cities and that whole tournament, But where's Colleen? And I mean, presumably Luke's not really Kingpin, anymore because Kingpin came back. So give me that story.
Let's throw in Jennifer Waters while we're at it.
Sure.
I'm a lover. I love that the She-Hulk thing. I loved it. I thought it was fun.
And by the way, I mean the art that we'd seen, going into Doomsday, like seemingly we are gonna get a bunch of Hulks and all. Now rumors are saying otherwise. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know,
I don't know about the Star
but
Wars, but I'm down. Yeah.
I'm certainly hoping. I mean, I want Hulks. I think we're gonna get some worlds. Some maybe other worlds we haven't seen before in Doomsday. Obviously, we're going to get more of the X-Men world. I suspect it'll be the one that was at the end of Marvels because that makes
Hmm.
sense, right?
Sure.
So I'm assuming it's those X-Men,
Right.
that we deal with, and
Give me one or two. Give me one or two Eternals.
I mean, it might happen.
I love it. I don't care. Kingo
Yeah.
was in
Where's Star
some
Fox?
stuff. Where is that Star Fox? Where
And
is
where's
that
Pip?
damn Pip the Troll? All right, we are way off the subject. We're in the vicinity, but we're a
Yeah.
little off the
Well, we were
subject of
talking about who we will
Wonder
or
Man.
won't see,
We love
and
it.
I
You know
mean,
what? You know why I
I'd
want
like
to
to
see
see.
Wonder Man back if you throw the X-Men in? Because you want to see Wonder Man and Beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to see
I mean,
that.
that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
That'd be awesome. Ian, anything left to add on Wonder Man besides everyone
That's
should
just
be
it.
watching
It's
this?
just great, but it's other than knowing some of the references, honestly one of the really refreshing things about this show is you don't need the knowledge, or there's not that much that is about
Mhm.
that. It's just a really
Yeah,
good show.
that's it. I mean, Heidi's kind of she. I don't think she saw the one of the. I don't think she saw the last few Disney Plus
Oh,
series, but I think she'd be down with this one a lot. And I told her, you got to see this one. It's great.
yeah,
It's beautiful. It's fun. Well written. Well directed. Hats off to everybody on the Wonder Man stuff. And we look forward to Daredevil here coming up, and then Spider Man, and whenever Vision
yeah.
Quest is. We just keep doing this stuff because
And I guess
Ian and I
Supergirl.
love it.
When is
Supergirl,
Supergirl
yeah.
out?
That
She
might be
July?
June.
June? No.
Supergirl. I'm looking it up right now. That 2026 release date is June 26th. Ian,
All right.
June 26th. We are
At least
getting
it's not Comic-Con weekend.
Craig Gillespie's Supergirl, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Looks like fun. And user, once your knowledge, there's somebody in the chat right now that says, "All right, Ian, Sentry versus Doom, who wins?"
Doom's gonna kill him.
Why? The Sentry has the power of 1,000 exploding suns.
Doom is gonna kill him.
Because can exploit the void, because he can exploit his split personality.
My opinion, what they'll probably do is let's remember, Doom is both technology and mystical power, and Doom's going to go up against him with and probably some.
Yeah.
I expect he's probably supplanted Kang already and taken whatever technology and abilities Kang's had that manipulate time and everything else. But he's going to kill. I honestly, my expectation is that Doom is literally going to kill him. That's what I
In
think is going to
Doomsday,
happen.
he's just going to kill the fucking
I think
Sentry.
he's going to kill him. I don't
Yeah,
know if
he's like the Vision in Civil War. Like, he's kind of a tough piece to keep on the board if you want
yeah,
things to be even. And
yeah.
so I think Sentry has to come off the board in the same way Vision kind of came
I
off the
mean,
board.
and this is just, I'm just guessing and not based on anything. I wouldn't be surprised if Doom doesn't do something weirdly interesting, like tears the void out of him, like maybe something
Mhm.
even akin to the way Sentry tore Ares in half,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what
Um.
I think is going to happen.
All right.
We're
Well.
definitely going to get that fight in that movie, and I think Doom is going to utterly destroy him.
That definitely sets the standard for what we're dealing with Doomsday.
Yes. I mean, I think that's the point of that scene.
Ian, thanks for doing this, man.
Sure.
I recruited Ian on short notice, but we had to talk about Wonder Man because we loved it. Geekscape will stick with us. You can find Ian online. He's on various socials, right?
Yeah,
You can hunt him out. He might be outside your window right now. I am, just search for Geekscape. You'll find us. We got tons of shows, and I've got a couple episodes coming up. We have our 80s panel from Pasadena Comic Con that we're doing. That's a video you guys are going to have. And then I sat down with the guys on Rydell High who have a new EP coming out. We got some Geekscapes coming down the pipe. So be subscribing, be sharing with your friends, and whatever you do when you go online, do not hate, create, make some art, write a book, write a story, make somebody laugh, do whatever you can. And much love from Geekscape. For Ian Kerner, I say peace. See you next time.